Continuing our breaking news coverage, President Joe Biden dropped out of the 2024 race for the White House this afternoon, a decision never before seen in the United States. The presumptive nominee has never before stepped out of the race so close to the election. But there is some precedent here, as it has major Minnesota connection. President Biden, of course, had the disastrous debate with Donald Trump last month, setting off a series of calls for him to leave the race. The 81-year-old had insisted he was in it to win it, but the pressure kept building, and he had a microscope on all his public interviews and appearances since then. His decision today came as he was isolating in Delaware after a COVID diagnosis last week, so he was huddled with close confidants and family members. The president immediately endorsed his vice president, Kamala Harris, to take over as the nominee, and he said he would shift his focus to serving out the last 6 months of his presidency. Now, some Republicans have called on the president to resign, including the Minnesota GOP and Speaker of the House, Mike Johnson. But he's vowed to stay in office and support his vice president in her campaign. Delegates to the Democratic Convention in Chicago next month will have the final say on who the candidate will be. The last time anything like this has happened was in 1968, when President Lyndon Johnson bowed out of the race after just one primary. That convention ended with delegates in Chicago choosing Minnesota's Hubert Humphrey to be the nominee. But this time around, Minnesota Senator Tina Smith tells us the transition from Biden to Harris could be a smooth one.
When people see her ability to make the case and to draw the contrast between the direction that she wants to take this country and the direction of Donald Trump, just let's say on the issue of reproductive freedom, I think it will be really dramatic to people, the difference. And I think that that's one of the reasons why she'll be a winning candidate.
Donald Trump did donate to her campaign when Harris ran for Attorney General in California in 2011 and 2013. In Minnesota, Senator Smith says the transition from a Biden-Harris campaign to a Harris campaign with someone else would be nearly seamless. Now, Senator Smith is among several names to endorse Vice President Harris. Others include the Clintons, Senator Klobuchar, and Minnesota Representatives Betty McCollum and Ilhan Omar. Party leaders who've addressed President Biden's withdrawal without endorsing Harris include former President Barack Obama, Governor Tim Walz, and Minnesota Representatives Angie Craig and Dean Phillips.